I am the one and only Terrorman, and I am back with a part 3 of a series I've made to fuel my YouTube channel that's had an identity crisis over the past 6 years. Started from making shitty Sims videos, less shitty Sims videos, GTA videos, Sparks massive rants and playing PS1 games. The almighty channel has been revived once again because I am bored shitless and I want to talk about my weird ass music, because why the hell not? My name is once again Terrorman, if you didn't catch me before, and today I will be discussing the next path in the very interesting road that is Swans, reviewing all albums and EPs from the Money era. Greed was the first part of the Four Horsemen of the Money quadrilogy, released in 1986. This album marked a signification for being less of music. This album marked a signification for being less of music that Tony Montana curb stomps people to, and a teensy bit more accessible and lighter, while still keeping their iconic bleakness and brutality as shown from their previous albums. The Money Saga makes its debut with a song called Fool. What I may notice in this starting track is how there's a new instrument added to Swan's extensive paraphernalia, now using a grand piano instead of metal tables and screaming banshees. Piano is used on and off throughout the 37 minutes of this album, including a lightly used synthesizer for one song. Now you are absolutely and definitely wondering who is playing the piano. You're not? Well, fuck you, because I'm going to tell you. It is none other than a chick called Java who recently joined the band this year. She'll be very, very important later, but for now just remember her for playing the piano and doing some occasional vocals. Another thing to note about Java is how she slightly made an impact on how these Money albums sound. Java actually helped Jiro with singing, encouraging him to sing from his chest instead of his throat. Jiro's vocals on these albums now conform to a sound more bitter and sinister, yet making it sound very dark and abrasive in a different way. Greed is one of my personal favourite atmospheres. It feels slow, so harsh, and so deep. Please don't take that out of context. Now if you watch my previous 2 rankings of Swans, you'd remember that I had a nitpick with Filth and Cop, stating that a vast majority of their songs sound quite similar to each other. But for Greed, this completely changes. Greed still adapts the formula of having dark, monotonous instrumentals and repetitive vocals, but this doesn't make the album sound cliche compared to the predecessors. This causes each song to feel like it has its own character, songs that stand out from one another, and in this turn, makes for more enlightening of a listen. Yes, this album still has its bad and fucking stupid, boring moments that drag on for too long, but from listening to the former albums, this will feel like a big step in the enjoyment and listenable adaptation of Swans. Songs like Nobody, Stupid Child and Heaven really stand out to me for the difference in attributes and instrumentals that they use. Picking songs from Filth and Cobb and trying to compare them will feel like trying to pick a roadman boyfriend when you're in year 9, because they all are the fucking same. But for Greed, even though it's just the first album in this saga, being released 2 years after the previous album, there is so much yet so little change it feels like. Greed is just a pretty good listen all the way through. Its length isn't too long for you to get bored, but isn't too short for you not to get enough of this sound. But if you did think this album was too short, then strap in, because I've got 3 more releases to talk about. But before I finish with Greed, I'll state, my favourite track on this album is Stupid Child, and my least favourite is Money is Flesh. I rate this album $7 out of 10. More often than not spliced in the same mix as Greed, similar to Cop and Young God's situation, Greed has its own respective EP, fittingly titled Time is Money, Bastard. This EP is pretty short and sweet, only consisting of 2 songs, and my god, the first track on this EP is hands down my favourite in the entire No Wave era. The song is called Time is Money, Bastard, and has a really jarringly amazing beat to it, sounding like a disco track that's been electrically drilled into your brain. When the entire 6 minutes that this song goes on for, the style of it doesn't change one bit, or doesn't get annoying or boring any time in, and the burn, 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 burn that Jira shouts in the background adds to the flavour, making it sound so friggin' badass. Time is Money, Bastard, then forwards to a song that is also 6 minutes, called Sealed in Skin. If the former track was a disco track nailed into your skull, then this is a country track staked to your heart. It sounds so brutal, cold and lifeless. Its polarising difference in the EP is crucial to how the future of Swans will become. It's a reoccurring theme to have really insane tracks, just then get thrown in the deep end with a gut-wrenching track. My favourite track on this EP is obviously Time is Money, Bastard, and my least favourite is Sealed in Skin. Despite there only being 2 songs on this EP, I rate it £6 out of 10. Now, fans of Swans in 1986 didn't get a chance to breathe before the new album came out. This album follows a very similar style and cover to that of Greed, appropriately named Holy Money. Now, while Holy Money wouldn't do much groundbreaking techniques surpassing Greed in that regard, Holy Money recycles 2 old tracks from the former album and acts as essentially remixes. These 2 songs are named Fool 2 and Money is Flesh 2 respectively. While the latter sequel doesn't do much deriving from the original song, Fool 2 knocks the first one out of the fucking water. Now, Fool and Greed was just the first track on the album. Basically, it was just Jira showing off his wet dream of including a piano into his album. And really, that's all it was, a piano and his chest-sang vocals. But Fool 2 takes the piano and vocals and adds guitar, which is something that was desperately needed to add to the liveliness of the track. The sequel to Fool makes the song sound absolutely insane. And in that really cool part where Jira says, "Oh, call up my life," and the guitar does some of the most beautiful riffs ever heard in Swans so far. Remember when I said Time is Money? Bastard. It was my favourite song from this era. Changed my blooming mind. This one takes the cake. But yeah, enough of talking about that one track with incredible bias. Let's just talk about the 6 other tracks on here. Yeah, not cool, I guess. I actually prefer the songs from Holy Money over Greed, but I feel like Greed does a better job following a narrative and just has a more sexier album cover. Holy Money is just the extension of what Greed was, doing a better job of production and detail. Some honourable mentions I like are A Screw and Coward. And yes, just like Greed, these songs have some good personality that stands out, some pretty good piano work from a couple songs, and nice backing vocals from that one chick who plays the piano because she's kind of cool, you know. Yeah. My least favourite track on here will be You Need Me, as it's just a 1-minute a cappella that acts like an interlude from a Hanging and Fool. But I feel bad for choosing that one, so the worst song on here is A Hanging. Sorry guys. And my favourite is You Clocked It. Fool 2, baby! Yeah! I rate Holy Money 7.5 euros out of 10. Now, to finally talk about the final release of the beautifully jaunting Money Saga, we have our final EP stitched onto Holy Money, titled A Screw. Now, by the title, you could probably guess that this EP will have 3 songs, 2 of those being remixes of the song A Screw, right? No? You're not a stupid, nerdy chud like me? Oh, whatever. A Screw features 2 different remixes of the song A Screw. The first remix features some pretty jazzy instrument works and some alternative vocals from Gira that almost makes it sound upbeat. The second one of these sounds like almost the opposite of what I just mentioned. The instruments are played in short little sections which make it sound really freaky if played with headphones on. Instead of reciting the lyrics of the original A Screw, this latter uses different vocals. Essentially all of the song is just Holy money, holy love. I basically think this one sounds a little bit better to listen to. Now that we've gotten the remixes out of the way, it's time to talk about the closing track to the Money Saga, a song called Blackmail. Now this song isn't what you expect from what I have just mentioned. Yes, what the fuck, I can't find where my fucking script was. A dark tone, a little bit brighter than the other albums, but you know, it's got theme. Blackmail knocks that all out the friggin' park and proceeds to wrench your guts with the most beautiful sounding piano with Jarbo's first main vocal performances, and she is beautiful. She is so beautiful. She is the vocals, not her. No, I was on about the vocals. No. Best track is the second remix of A Screw. Worst song is the first remix of A Screw. I rate this EP 5 yen out of 10. So yeah, that was a whole Money Saga of Swans explained by a chuddy little British teenager who deserves an award for shittest script reading of all time. But on a serious note, these releases are criminally underrated masterpieces that gives you a slice of their old works that are yet to come. An insanely overlooked era of Swans that should be commemorated more for its style and character. I rate the entire Money Saga, I've just spent all my money. Holy money!